Oops, everybody can see. If you have any questions, if you you can text as well. You can type in the chat box as well. So I will read it along the way, just in case. So let's start off with oh. Thank you, Pinera. Okay. So let's dive into this. Start off, this one would be called the structures of academic writing one. Technically, the structure of academic writing one technically try to follow the what not follow, sorry. Academic writing one focusing on how to write the paragraph and essay. So the structure of paragraph and essay, because a lot of you are first timers. So just in case, and make sure that you compose a good paragraph. So let's start from the foundations. However, before we start writing any type of writing piece, these are the things that you should familiar yourself with, or you should know these things before you start your writing. There are 6 components: audience, purpose, organization, styles, flow, and presentations. Technically, these are the things that would be great that if you know before you start your writing, it can enhance your writing qualities and the language-wise as well. First of all, the audience. So before you write, it would be great to know who you write to. So who's gonna read your work? Because okay, technically, let's say if you write this writing piece to a child, you would know that the language that you use needs to be some kind of easy to understand, some kind of child-friendly words, right? However, if your work is like a class assignment, so that would be where your writing is more needed to be more professionals, need to be more technical because it's a class assignment. Or if you write to, you don't know the person who's gonna read, so some people say that if your work publicly, if you publish your work publicly, so you open your work to everyone, we would say that your writing need to be formal, which is technically it's going to be your thesis. Your research. The audience for thesis or research going to be everyone, because when you're writing a thesis or research and you publish online, or as you can see when you read research paper, you read from online website, right? So everybody can access your paper, and now a lot of people open it, like make it freely accessible, so everybody can read the work. So if everybody can read your work, your writing need to be somehow formal and academic. So academic writings, or some people call it formal writings. You use words that more technical, professionals, that would be academic and formal. Yes, I do have some rules like how to follow in terms of make sure it's formal writings. Let's say like if you produce a formal writing, if you include any abbreviations or acronyms, you need to make sure that you provide the full version of it. Like if you provide the word abbreviations of WHO, you need to provide the meaning, the full name of WHO as well, because in your field, WHO might not refer to World Health Organizations. So with that, it would be best to provide the meaning of those abbreviations or acronyms. There are some tips, something to remember if you write, like if you need your writing to be formal and academic. So we're gonna go through this later. So don't worry about it. And in terms of your audience, if you know your audience, it actually gonna help enhance your writing to be, match the expectations. And another thing is that if you know your topic might be positive, it's gonna be easier to write. But if your topic is kind of negative to people, not exactly appeal to people, or a topic that's quite sensitive, topic like topic that might seem sensitive, let's say topic about abuse, domestic abuse, that type of topic, or topic that some people feel negative about, let's say topic like uh uh assistant suicide or assistant death, those type of topics, some people feel like negative about it. So if you conduct or if you need to write topic like those, you might need to consider the words that you use to fit your audience, which is why knowing your audience in advance would help you to know the language that you should use, what to be careful, what are the cautions, what are the things that, can help them feel more appeal to your writing. The first thing is about audience. And the second thing is purpose. Definitely before you write anything, you need to know why you're writing this. And yes, it's quite clear when you write a thesis, your purpose would be research objective of research questions. You need to know what would be your research objective or research questions. Knowing these things, you actually can create better writing in terms of like introductions. You would know what to include in your literature review. So knowing your purpose, the objective would help your writing be more structured and have all the necessary details taken place. And the next one would be styles. So another thing about the style is that when you write, there are many styles that you can follow. Like, or you sometimes when you write this about this topic, it might be a compare contrast, or sometimes about this topic, it might be a cause effect, or a writing that used to present your opinions. Which different type of writing, like this one, we're actually gonna go through it later for academic writing too. In academic writing too. So and the styles is here, it would be include to use like formal writings. Technically, if you know that your writing gonna be open publicly, stick with formal writing. Some of the rules here that to avoid. So let's avoid informals. Avoid informals. The first one is contractions. Contraction is word like can't. The word like can't, this short version of can or haven't. This is informal. My writing is bad. Okay. You can use this to write on Facebook if you're not exactly like technically like informal, or you can use this to talk with your friends. But if you're gonna publish a paper, you should not write the word can. You should go with the word cannot. Would be more appropriate. The full versions, let's say the full version like cannot, have not, would be the appropriate version, would be the one that we call formal styles of writing. Contraction, it means the shorter version of the writings. Try, not avoid, do not do not write contractions in formal writing. The second one is to deliver a formal styles of writing is to avoid using avoid. It means that you can use, yes. In some disciplines, in some journals, you would see that a lot of authors use the word I, which is okay. It's not exactly like must not thing. Normally, we would say that you can use the word I or we. If you conduct your research with your friends, you can use the word we. But if this research is only you can use the word I. You can use the word I or we, but try to minimal it. don't overuse it. Okay, you can use it, but try to stick it with the minimal. Minimal is mean like use as less as possible. If you not want to use the word I or we, options. Alternative option would be the word researcher. Because when you publish a paper, it means that you are a researcher. Even though you are a nurse, but when you publish a paper, it means that in that context, you are a researcher. So you can presume or, refer yourself as the researcher. Or instead of refer to yourself, refer to the study. You can go with the word this study or this researcher. That's okay as well. Okay, so the first person's avoid, but the first person is like the pronoun. First person pronoun. The second one is second person pronoun. Second person pronoun is like word like you, he, she. Word like you, he, she. Let's say do not. Let's stick with no for this one. Okay. If you write a research paper, it would be better to be specific. The idea of writing a research paper is that you need to specific in your details, specific in terms of the people who you referring to. So instead of saying the word you, I'm pretty sure you would know who you are writing to. Because even though you write a research paper, but your research paper is not gonna exactly focus on everybody. Your research topic or research paper probably focusing on certain group of people. As some of you like, your interest is elderly. So your audience, your audience, or let's say the people that you conduct your research is elderly. So you, instead of using the word you or he or she, it would be better to, go with the specific. If you refer to elderly, use the word elderly. If you are referring to those people who are children, use the word children. So avoid the word you, he, or she. Because you, he, or she is kind of, it's not specific. People don't exactly know who you mean. That's why it's better to be specific and, be details who you're referring to. The next one is that we don't use slang, idioms, or jargons in writing. Formal writing, academic writing, we don't use slang, jargons, or idioms, especially in research writing. We don't go for it. Because jargons or idioms or slang can be misinterpreted. People might misunderstand. People might not know what do you mean or not sure what you mean by this using this slang, except your research is about language usage. However, if your research is not about language usage, do not use slang, jargons, or idioms in terms of formal style writing. However, if in your presentations, yes, you can go for slang, jargons, or idioms. However, let's say if it's a professionals or academic presentations, try to minimize your slangs or jargons or idioms. Again, jargons, idioms, and slang can be misinterpreted. People might misunderstood you. However, because if you use in your presentations, you see the reactions, so you can, you can explain what's it mean by this and that. But in your writing, you cannot. That's why slang or jargons or idiom would be a no-no for writing. But yes, for speaking. Or however, another thing that can be exception is that if you are taking English writing exam like IELTS, TOEFL, you can use slangs in the writing. You can apply idiom, slang, or jargons in the writing. However, research writing, no. No for research writing. The whole idea is that when you do writing, when the audience have questions, they cannot ask you, and you cannot explain any misunderstanding. That's why let's avoid the thing that can cause potential misunderstanding. Yes for speaking, no for writing. But if you're taking IELTS or TOEFL, this can be applied. The slangs or idioms. But again, when we say that for English proficiency test, you can use it like slang or jargons or idioms, but it's not like you're going to use a lot of it. Maybe 2 or 3, that's enough. Another one that would help your writing to be more formal writing is that try to stick with gender neutral language. Gender neutral language is the word that do not specific to certain gender. Because, for example, words like policeman, this reflects to this give meaning to one gender, which is guys, right? Policemen should be men. However, in the police force, there are every gender, open to all genders. So instead of that, in writing now, we try to be gender neutral language. If your research is not about gender studies, your research should be gender neutral language, which is instead of the word policeman, try to be neutral. Go with the words like police officer would be more appropriate. So whatever in with like man, woman. So go with like, something that more neutral. Officer would be better. But if you study about gender, yes, you can use the word policeman, because gender research, you need to be study specifically into a certain gender. That's why it's appropriate. But for most of you, stick with the neutral if you're not about gender things. So these are some of the rules, technically some of the rules to remember to make your writing to be more formal. The next one, unity and coherence. I'm sorry, this is a lot. The flow of the writings. To start off with is that in your writing need to have some kind of flow. Flow, it means that everything needs to be linked together. When a good writing, it means that everything in your writing linked together, and everything in your writing is somehow necessary to be included in your writing, somehow relate to the topic that you write. Because a good writing means a writing that is not way too out of the box or way too much details. And to deliver a good flows, we would say that in your writing, it should have some kind of unity and coherence. Unity and coherence is that the word unity, if you open a dictionaries for the meaning of these two words, it's actually gonna give you like the same meaning, which is mean like something combined together to, something combined or relate together. However, in terms of writing perspective, we would say that the word unity is that your writings, the whole writing is moving toward one topic. So if your writing is about cardiovascular disease, so everything in this should be something like linked to heart disease. That is unity. Coherent, it means that when you write, you organize the informations in an easily way to understand. So again, if you write about heart disease, you probably have a lot of details because you can talk about like the cause, the treatment, this patient, this and that. So to have a good coherent is that you need to find a way, you as an author need to find a way to organize information or maybe group the information together in a way that easy to understand, in the way that the reader not need to go back, like to go back and forth to keep reading this twice or third time to understand it. They can just go through it one time and they understand it. That's the whole thing. Unities, everything, all the details should be moving toward one topic. Coherence, find a good way, find a way to organize your details, your information in a way that easy to understand. And in English, we would say that to help your information connect together, you can go with conjunction, transition words, or logical signal words to help you organize and link information together. What it's mean by the word conjunction is, some of you might learn this as the word fanboy. Conjunction, it's words like for and no, but yet, or. So, for and no, but yet, or so. But yeah, or, but, or, yet, so. So the connection, I'm sorry, conjunctions here you can use to connect sentence. One important rule. Academic writings, we don't start, do not start a sentence with fanboy. Talk to your friends, you can start your sentence with fanboy. Academic writings or research writing, you're not going to see people's, or let's say any author start a sentence with all, or start with the sentence with the word so. They're not going to use it. Academically, the fanboy going to be used to connect sentence across. So you're going to see like the fanboy going to be like in the middle somehow. So maybe it's going to be here. Somehow in the middle between sentence here, full stop, maybe here. In the middle or at toward the end, that's just okay. But never at the beginning. Instead of, but I know some of you might say that sometimes we start the sentence with and because we want to add information. That's why you start a sentence with and. Academically, instead of the word and, we're gonna go for transition words, which is start a sentence with words like also, in addition. There are a lot, so I will show you later. Also, in addition, furthermore, moreover. So these are the connector that you can use instead of the word and if you need to start a sentence with and in academic sense. Again, or if you want to start the sentence with the word so, we're not going to start with the word so. We're going to start with like therefore, despite of, despite of, or however would be more appropriate for academic. And another connectors that you can use is that when you need to organize your information, time to time, you can use like logical signal word. Logical signal word is word like first, second, third, last. So technically when you deliver information that connects together in terms of it's like the list or the choice of something. So you can use first, second, last to connect your information. So use these connectors connect or conjunction, transition, or logical signal word appropriately to link your information. Try not to overuse it. Try not to overuse the transition or conjunctions, especially the transition. Do not start all your sentence with transitions. No, that's overuse. Try to use as it's, as it's appropriate, not too much. Last one, last one is that in terms of positioning, it would be great to know the format before you write. However, I would say that for thesis or for research writing, it's probably not exactly something that you need to know first. You can get to know this at the end. That is okay as well. That's okay as well. Let's say start with like for those writing in Thai. For the Thai that Mahidol's Mahidol use would be Ansana New, not Saraban. Thai Saraban would be Ansana New 16 point. For English, gonna be Times New Roman with the 12 points. Not the same font size, totally different. So if you write in Thai English, please make sure you use the correct fonts and font size. Another thing is that the format. Normally, if you submit your paper to a journals, you're gonna have some kind of format that you need to follow, like the font size, font styles, the page boundary, where you can check that later. You can do this later after you finish your writing. Many journals in Thai, I think they use like the page number, but in English, they're going to use word count. The minimum word count, it's mean like but to submit to this journal, you need to have this many words, this much of words. Like normally it's about 5,000 to 7,000 words. Let's say 5,000 is that you cannot have less than 5,000 words in your paper for the whole paper, for the whole research. Or you cannot have more if they say like 5 to 7,000, minimum would be 5,000, maximum would be 7,000. So if it's more than 7,000, you need to remove some words. If it's less than 5,000, you need to add more words or sentence. If you submit your work to a journals conference, maybe normally they would have word limitations. Normally they would have the words limitations that you need to follow. However, or if it's not word limitation, I think in English it's going to be word limitations, but for Thai, I think it's going to be, or for some journal, it's going to be a page limitation. Like everything cannot be more than 10 page. But 10 page here is that 10 page using the following font styles, following font styles, following font size, font styles, paragraph spacing, so they can have some kind of requirements for you to follow as well. Word limitations or page limitations. For a thesis, for MU thesis, currently, I believe MU thesis or thematic. For MU, so far, I think we do not have no limitation. No limitations to, yeah, you can write as much as you want. However, some people might say that if you can write as much as you want, you don't know like what it's mean by what it's mean by the word, what it's mean by the word enough, how much is enough. Some people when you get like there's no limitations, some would feel like, so what is mean by enough? What is a good amount then? The good amount, if like there are limitations or no limitations, the good amount would be to look for to find like what would be the good amount. It would be great to normally I would say that you should look at previous work. So previous thesis, the thesis that published last year. Normally in each faculties or each program or each discipline, you're gonna have your way of doing a research. You're gonna have your some kind of method of your doing your research, of your way doing your research. So with your way of doing your research, I think you should be able to find some kind of pattern of like, okay, the good amount would be this. So let's say, okay, social science students, if you are doing a thesis, your thesis is gonna be like 100 page something. Social science, 100 something or something close to 100. However, if you are engineer, it's gonna be, let's say, if you are engineer logistics, it might be like 40 to 50 page for your master thesis. So that's why I say that I would say that each discipline you would have your way of doing research. So to find what would be the appropriate amount, just to give you a guideline, you can have a look at previous work, the past research in your field compared to your field would be appropriate, would be better. Or if you are public health would be public health or nursing. If you conduct your research in human, not laboratory, would be something close to 180 to 90 page, supposedly. That's what I find. Yeah, most of you are nursing, like public health, nursing, music, and music therapy, music education. I think you probably close to 60 or 70 or maybe 100 page. Not sure about music. Yeah. For thesis. For thematic, probably like 70, 80 page. Around that would be something similar to that amount. So if you want to look like, let's say, a guideline or examples of how long this chapter needed to be, like some of you feel like, oh, you need to start writing your intro, you don't know how long should it be. So a good way is to have a look at previous work from your field. So you would know that, okay, in your field gonna be this amount, at least about that, let's say, should be a good starter. Yes, at the end of the day, people would say that it's gonna concern about the details that you include as well. A good amount a good amount of this gonna need to relate to the content that you put it in as well, whether you put enough content, you put everything in there or not. So that would be, yes, something to concern as well. But let's say just for the start, to give you an idea, if you want to know how long your introduction need to be, have a look at previous work. That should give you some starter, let's say a starter, or some, let's say, expectations. Because some people, you will say that if you have this persons as advisor, this advisor probably expect you to write 5 page of introductions. Some advisor might have like 3 page, that's enough. So different advisor do have some kind of maybe different expectations as well. So if you want to know the starter, that would be have a look at previous work. But at the end of the day, yes, it would mainly relate to your content as well, whether the content is contain everything yet or not. Yes, it is important to have a read and think about that as well. But let's say Photoshop, that would be something fun to read. So far, any questions? After the breaks, I'm gonna take a break first, and after the break, we will come back. Today, yeah, we have 3 days for this week. And we will come back to have a look at paragraph structure, the structure of paragraph writing. Some way, somehow, you should be able to, something that you can apply to your writing as well. Let's take a 15-minute, 15, roughly 15 minute breaks. 20. Let's take a 15-minute break and we will be back at 8:05. Yeah. So the idea of paragraph is that it's gonna be for each paragraph, for one paragraph gonna compose with 3 things: topic sentence, supporting sentence, and concluding sentence. So 3 things. These are the 3 components, 3 things it would be great to have in a paragraph. Before that, when we talk about paragraph, we would say that it is a group of related sentence. A good paragraph is a paragraph that has some kind of unity. So a unity, it's mean that everything that in the paragraph should be somehow related. And when I say related here, a paragraph, it should compose with several sentences. That's why related sentence about a single topic. A good paragraph focusing in on one topic, not many. Most of the time, it should be one. And when I said the word related sentence, is that a good paragraph, it's not 2 lines. First of all, the word sentence and lie, it's not the same. Sentence and lines are not the same. Lie is like just from the start to the finish, at the same line. However, in one sentence, you can have many lines. That's hard to understand. Okay. Take this as example. Okay. A paragraph, when I said lines, so you can see that if you say like line 1 would be from the word the aim of this thing to the word the group, the study group. This is line 1, or some people call it the first line. So a sentence is from one full stop to another. So with one full stop to another is that it's like, from the start to the end. For this sentence, it's have like 1 line. So it's quite short. In research writing, you can have like 1 line sentence. you can, but normally it probably not going to be this short. You might have this, but it's like very few. Normally, you're going to see a longer version of a sentence because this is an abstract. That's why it's quite short. Okay, let's take a look at something else here. But if you read, you're going to see like in one sentence, it's quite long in a research writings because you're going to need to include reason, this and that. So as you can see that this sentence that I highlight, it starts from the word dueling, and at the end is like the citation. So this sentence is about four lines, 3.5, but I would say 4. Okay. So one sentence can be 1 line or many lines. That's up to you. However, I would say that for one sentence, keep it about 4 lines would be okay. More than that, it might be too long. Having a long sentence is not bad. However, a super long sentence, when the sentence is super long, it means that that sentence contains a lot of information. And a lot of information, it's not exactly easy to absorb, easy to digest. That's why we would say that a good sentence should not be too long or too short. Too short is mean like 1 line, definitely. Academically, maybe 1 or 2 would be okay. But we're probably not going to see a lot of 1 line sentence a lot in academic writing. I would say that. However, you might see 2 or 3 lines that okay. However, normally, based on my opinion, I would say that if you're going to write a sentence, keep it less than 4 lines would be great, would be better. For a sentence, for one sentence, I would say keep it under 4 lines. Would be a good amount. Longer than that, it's often to be too long. And when it's too long, it's kind of too much details to digest for the readers. And if the language that you write, if English is your second language, somehow it might have, the longer sentence that you write, the higher chance of you might make grammatical mistake. Yes, it is. Normally, the longer sentence that you write, you might somehow maybe like, the word might be you use the wrong type of verbs, or the connection might not, or the type of sentence that you use might not incorrectly use. So the possibility kind of higher. So one sentence, 2 or 4 lines, or at least for me, under 4. And for one paragraph, one thing. One sentence, it's not equal to one paragraph. One paragraph academically, let's say academic versions, try to make it at least 4 sentences for a paragraph. For a paragraph, keep it about 4 sentences. Would be great to have a 1 paragraph. If you have less than that, maybe you might consider combine the information to the previous paragraph or to the next one would be more appropriate. If you have 3 is still like borderline, but still okay to have as a paragraph. But 1 or 2 sentences, not exactly a good paragraph. It's not, yeah. It's okay, but I would not recommend that. It's way too short. Academically, add something. Longer would be better. And to start off with the paragraph, I would start off with the first thing that you need to write is the topic sentence. Every paragraph should have a topic sentence. because the idea of having the topic sentence is the sentence that tell the reader what to expect or what they should know reading this sentence. Topic sentence would act like an guideline sentence, an overview sentence that give the reader, give your audience what would be included in this paragraph in general, not detail, but in generally what you're going to talk about, what you include possibly. That is the idea of having the topic sentence. The topic sentence, normally we would write it as the first sentence. So you start off with like telling the start of your paragraph, and by telling your reader what you're going to write, you're going to start off with the topic sentence. It can be the first or the second, that's okay. Some people might write it as the second sentence because you might have some kind of intro before this, that is okay. But the easy, simple thing in every paragraph that you write in any type of writing, start with the topic sentence. And in the topic sentence, you need to include two things. First, the topic itself, the topic, or in this case, I said that name of the subject. So what topic you're going to write about? That's why it would be great to know, okay, this topic, this paragraph is going to be about exercise. However, when we talk about exercise, there are many things that we can talk about exercise. There are benefits of exercise, drawback of exercise, or challenges, or factor contributing to exercise. So there are many things that you can discuss about exercise. So the next thing that you need to tell the readers, apart from the topic, the second thing would be the controlling ideas. Controlling idea, or some people might call it the main ideas. It's the controlling idea would technically tell the reader what you're gonna write about. So again, if the topic is exercise, the topic is exercise. Oops. So if the topic of is exercise, your controlling idea, so let's say just use the word con, maybe let's say in this case, okay, I want to talk about benefits. So your paragraph gonna be talking about the whole, or that paragraph gonna talk about benefits of exercise. Yes, you need to talk about, you need to provide the topic and controlling ideas in your paragraph so that your audience know what you write about. And some people would say that when they read the detail, they would know what I write about. So when they read the detail, they would know definitely what I write about. So why do I have to write this topic sentence? Trust me, sometimes when you write, when the author writes, sometimes they kind of write a lot and a lot of ideas being added on that paragraph. So sometimes it's a lot. So when there's a lot of things in there, having a one sentence that kind of conclude everything, provide the direction, provide the overview would be a good idea of telling your readers what you're gonna write about. So in this case, I wrote the word controlling idea equal generals and main idea is equal specifics. Or I would say that at one point, controlling idea or main idea would be the same things. However, if you say something like your topic is exercise and you're going to write about the benefits, the word benefit going to be controlling idea, because under the word benefits, there are, the benefits of exercise, like good health, good emotions, good mental health. So that are the details, right? So if you provide the overview of what you're going to write, that would be called controlling ideas. However, if you mention the specific one, would be called main idea. So again, if your topic is exercise, and in this case, you're going to write main idea. So the main idea would be, let's say, so I just give a quick run. So EQ, good EQ, and body, good body. So just make it so you don't have to write a lot. So good physical health, good EQ, it's not emotions, not EQ. Okay, let's change it. So let's say emotions. Benefits of exercise would be good emotions, good mental. Wait, that's the same thing. Physical. So that would be the main idea. So as you can see, you're going to see like the benefits, the controlling and the main idea. Technically, it reflects the same thing. However, controlling would provide overview. However, main idea would provide the details. When you write a topics idea, so you have two choice between writing the topics and controlling, or topics and main idea. So you pick one. You don't have to go for both controlling and main ideas. When you write a topic sentence, you can write the topic and controlling ideas, or topic and the main ideas. Choose one. Choose one. The topic is telling what you're gonna write. The controlling tells the overview. Main idea tells the details of what you're going to write, like be specific of what you write. So overview of the specific thing technically refer to the same things. That's why pick one. But you need both of them. Most people would often go with the first option, which is topic and controlling idea. However, you can go for topic and main idea as well. But most of the time, a lot of people, when they start, they often start with topic and controlling, just to give like a quick run, a quick view, a quick overview. That's why they tend to prefer writing the topic and controlling ideas. So again, the example for 1 and 2 are just like that. The example of the idea of the topic is English. However, this is why like you need to tell the controlling idea, because number 1 and 2 talk about English. However, the first one talk about how this language is borrowed the words from other language, but the second one talk about how English is used in jobs, in different jobs. So number 1 and number 2 talk about the same topics, but the detail is totally different. That's why you need to write topic and controlling ideas. You need to give overview of your paragraph to your audience. And another thing is this one is that you will see that between A and B here. Let's have a look at 1A and 1B. For 1A, you start with topic and controlling ideas. Topic and then controlling ideas. However, to 1B, it starts with controlling idea and followed by with the topics. Either or is good. When you write the topic, you can start with the topic. When you write a topic sentence, you can start with the topic and following by the controlling ideas, or you can start with the controlling ideas and follow by with the topics. Either or are correct. Up to you. There is no better way, because I believe when it's come to writing, it's kind of depend on your writing styles. Some people prefer the second one, some people prefer the first one. So it's kind of depend on your writing styles and your writing styles, or the method, the word, how you want to tell the information in that sense, in that time. So at the end of the day, there's no right or wrong. It's just your preference or the styles of, in this case would be the other styles of writing, your choice. The next one, this one just like what I have mentioned. The topic sentence provide the direction or expectations. The audience give audience expectations. audience, expectations to the audience. Expectation to the audience. Directions, overview, expectations to the audience. That's the goal of having topic sentence. You can write it in the first or second sentence, but not the end. Normally, we put it at the first to help audience understand quickly and easily what you write. And one thing to be careful, to be cautioned, is that when you write the topic sentence, make sure it's not too general or too specific. What I mean by the word too general, it's going to mean like the writing itself, when you tell the topic normally it's easy to understand. That you're going to write about job, you're going to write about exercise, you're going to write about work, so it's quite clear. However, when you mention, the point is about the controlling ideas. Sometimes when you mention the controlling idea, it might be too broad or too general. In this case, the example provide a job is part of life. So when you say something like part of life, job is part of life, it's kind of broad, because people, a good topic sentence should give audience the directions of what to expect. But when you say something like part of life, so some audience might question like, so which part of life you referring to? You mean like the older one, the beginning one, or the work part? So it's, a good topic sentence, you should not make your audience questionable of what you are going to write. A good topic sentence give your audience like, oh, you're going to write about a job during the teenage life. So a clear directions. If it's not clear, it might be too broad. And again, some people deliver a too broad topic sentence. Some people deliver a too specific topic sentence. A too specific topic sentence, it means that the topic sentence that already provide all the details that the audience want to know. The idea of topic sentence is provide an overview. Provide the overview, and if the audience want to know the details, they need to keep reading, because when you write something, you want people to read it, right? So we don't want them to just read the first one and skip the whole thing. We want the audience to somehow go through our readings. If it's too specific, it means like it kind of include all the details. It provides the details that we need to know based on that topic. So when you provide all the details, there's no point of keep reading. So that would be too specific topic sentence. Like this one. The example say that an increased number of people in the United States work 50 hours a week. So as you read, you will see that, okay, they talk about working people in the US, and per week they work 50 hours. And yeah, that's all. That would not be a good topic sentence, because good topic sentence, you need like, this is the starter for the next one, but this kind of provide all the details. So maybe from that, you might change to something like, the number of hours that Americans work each week has changed in the past 30 years. So instead of saying like work 50 hours, maybe talk about like, this has been changed in the past 30 years. So you say that it changed for 30 years. So for the audience, if they want to know, okay, what changed, how it changed, they need to keep reading. So it would be a better, the suitable topic sentence instead of being like too general, too specific. So be cautious, be careful when you write a topic sentence. Make sure it's not too broad or too specific. Keep it like, somehow give a clear directions. like somehow give a clear directions. If you shift to the next one, it would be this. Okay. So this would be the examples. Oops. Or the exercise for you to do. And not the individual exercise yet. No, not this one. This one is in class, so you can have a try on identifying the topic and have a try on identify the topic and controlling ideas. We're probably not going to do it now. In order to not create even more pressures, put too much pressure for you. So I'm gonna leave you to do this at home instead. So, and we will go through it tomorrow in class. Oops. Go through it tomorrow in class instead. So you have time to identify the topics and controlling ideas for each topic sentence. So let's take this as in class homework and try to do it, and we will go through it tomorrow in class together at the class. So, and just like highlights, okay, just highlight the topic. What would be the topic? What would be the controlling idea based on these 6 topic sentence? Just that. Easy and simple. Okay. Moving next is the supporting sentence. Supporting sentence. So this would be the second component. Topic sentence would be a must thing. So this is must. This is needed. You need to write this. And topic sentence would be a must as well. You need to have this always in your paragraph. Supporting sentence, it's mean as what it's called, supporting. So in the supporting sentence, normally you provide explanation to your based from your topic sentence. In the supporting sentence, you provide explanations. Explanation can be like, you can use like fact-based or statistics that is support as well. It can be fact-based. It can be, that's why I call it text. Or it can be number, which is statistic. Normally, if you use statistics or fact-based, it should come with citation as well, academically. You probably need to include the citations. We will talk about how to citation later. The script and in terms of, or in the supporting, when you explain something, explain as a supporting, it can be fact, it can be description, it can be definition, it can be examples. That's up to you. So it can be just fact and example. That is okay. It doesn't have to be like fact, description, definitions, example. No, it's going to depend on what you write and what you need to provide as the explanations. But make sure when you provide explanation, you provide sufficient information, sufficient. So enough details to explain your topic or explain your controlling idea. Enough and complete, that would be great. Enough and complete details. In the supporting sentence, many people actually include examples. However, it's also okay as well not to include examples if you feel that your explanation is already good. Because a lot of people would say that having example would give the reader like the visuals. The visuals, okay, this is comparing to this thing, so they easily understand your point, your argument. However, sometimes when you provide the explanations, sometimes it's kind of include the example. You kind of integrate the examples in that already. So you might not need to have like a separate examples in order to avoid providing redundant information. Redundant information, it means that you provide the same thing, but just you talk about the same key idea, but maybe like in different words. And that's keep your paragraph repeating the same things, which not the ideal thing. We don't want that. So in supporting sentence, it's not always need to have examples, but if you feel that having example would better explain your argument, you should include it. But if you feel like it's okay not to include. For the examples, if you're gonna include it, you can separate as one sentence or one or two or three sentences for the examples. The examples can be separate as a separate sentence if you have a separate sentence. So you might start the example by using the transitional word, like words like examples, for example, for instance, and after these words, it need to follow by the comma, and then the examples. That would be one way to include the example by separate it into a separate sentence. Another method is to add the example into the sentence. So if you integrate the examples in the sentence, when you write the examples, it's going to be like the one that I wrote. Like you can go with the word such as, for example, for instance. Some people do provide comma before the word such as, some people not. So I think both version is okay. Both version is okay. Some people write before it, some people don't. So for me, I think either all is okay. However, if you go with the words for examples, you need to have a comma before and after the word for examples. If you include example within the sentence and use for examples. So as you can see here, I have like a line. So details, for example, comma, and then the word for example, comma, and then the examples detail would be followed here. Or if you don't like the word, for example, you can go with the word like for instance. And then again, you need to provide the comma before and after the word for instance. Yes, it's the rules. You need to follow it. It's like specific rules. This one is like you have to. That would be examples, how to use a quick use of it. Okay. So let's skip that. So this one would be another take-home exam, take-home homework, take-home exercise, take-home practice for you to do. Based on this one, this is a full version of a paragraph. It's actually like composed of topic sentence, supporting sentence, concluding sentence, everything here. With this practice, I want you to identify the unrelated sentence details. Let's say unrelated supporting sentence. Since we are in the supporting sentence, so based on this paragraph, which sentence is not related. Again, a good sentence is a good paragraph is where you provide all the necessary details. So make sure it have to be like details that relate with it, relate to the topic. So identify the unrelated supporting sentence. Super short. Take home homework. Do it later. Last but not least is the concluding sentence. Concluding sentence is like writing a summary. Technically, it is a summary. If your writing is equal to one paragraph, if your whole writing is one paragraph only, you need to write a concluding sentence. You need to write this. This is a must. So must. Okay. If you write one, you need to write a concluding sentence because you need to have somehow of conclusions or summary at the end. However, if your writing is more than 2 paragraphs, or you know that you're going to have like a conclusions or a conclusion paragraph at the end, you can choose to ignore concluding sentence. Okay. If you know that you're going to write conclusion paragraph, you know you're going to write conclusion paragraph, you can ignore. You can choose to not writing the concluding sentence. Or if you have more than 2 paragraphs, maybe normally like more than 2 paragraphs, it might be some way somehow relate to each other. That's why sometimes it's okay not need to write a concluding sentence. Normally, when you write more than 2 paragraphs, you often have conclusion paragraph. That's why the concluding sentence can be ignored. You can choose not to write it. It's okay. Not to have concluding sentence. So normally if you read like research paper, you're not gonna see a lot of concluding sentence because it's a paragraph followed by one another. That's why you're not gonna see concluding sentence. If you're gonna write the concluding sentence, technically concluding sentence act as the summary, or some people call it conclusion paragraph. However, because it's just one paragraph, so this concluding sentence, it can be just one sentence that conclude everything. So to conclude everything, technically what you write is that you provide the topic. What you write here is that you provide the topic and the main idea. Topic and main, when you summarize, you talk about, when you conclude, when you summarize in the concluding sentence, you provide the topic and main idea. So main idea technically are the key things, the key ideas that you mentioned. So we call them main ideas. That's what you're gonna write in your conclusions. And because most of the time when you write concluding or summary, in the summary or in the conclusion, you write topic and main ideas, which is why in the intro in the topic sentence, we often go with the topic and controlling idea instead of topic and main ideas in order to avoid repeating the same thing, repeating the same words, because the topic sentence and concluding sentence actually do the same jobs, which is tell the reader what you write. You know, provide the reader the overview of what you write. It provides similar job, but topic sentence is at the beginning, concluding sentence is at the end. But when you conclude, it often to be more details. That's why it's topic sentence and main idea. And the easiest way to start your summary or the conclusion is to start with the signal words, like the word to conclude, in conclusion, to summarize, in summary, to summarize, in summary, to sum up, to summarize, in summary, in brief, in short. Yes, it has to come in this pattern. You have to use the word to sum up. You cannot go with the word in sum up. That is wrong use of transitions. It has to be to sum up, to summarize, to conclude, or you can go with in conclusions or in summary. That's okay. There are a lot of it. This is just example for you to troubleshoot. So this normally if the audience see this word, it's like automatically tell that we are reaching the end. So that's why having these words to start off your in conclusion would give, you know, the fast, easiest way for the audience to know that, okay, we are reaching at the end. Just provide a summary, and that's all. And that would be all. Last but not least, for take-home homework is to choose the best concluding sentence based on the provided paragraph. Choose the sentence A, B, or C. Which one would make the best concluding sentence for this paragraph? Just choose a choice. A, B, or C. For the take-home homework, you don't need to submit to my emails. This is just like a practice, in class practice, that's all. So no worry, don't need to put it in my emails. We will go through it tomorrow together. Anybody have any questions? Okay. So that would be all. I would try